This is the fuel tap off point for my Eberspacher D2 heater in my 110 Defender. What you can see here is where I've cut the fuel filler pipe and inserted the takeoff pipe. I'll drop a picture of the takeoff pipe itself in just after this clip, but essentially it's a collar the same diameter as the fuel filler pipe, which has got a narrow gauge pipe brazed into it, which then follows the line of the filler pipe and then drops down into the tank towards the back of the tank, which means that it can't actually empty your whole tank because the tank is lower at other points than where this pickup pipe goes in. Here you can see the pump where it transitions from a wider gauge supply that comes from the tank and goes into this narrower gauge clear plastic, and that carries on along the chassis rail. So here's the setup inside the Land Rover. That box replaces the middle seat or cubby box. Actually doesn't technically replace it completely, because the cubby box can still fit on top of the mud stuff box. So there's the Eberspacher sat in the middle there. The outlet is at this end, inlet at that end. The 12 volt supply is coming from the fuse box there, which also supplies the cigar lighter socket at the back there, which is supplying a fridge, not currently plugged in. And as I said earlier, there's a couple of other sockets at the front here, another cigar lighter, double USB, and buried way down in there is the switch that turns on and off the can't really see that, the battery to battery supply. The controller for the Eberspacher is there, sitting on the dash. That's the 801 type controller that will run until you turn it off. It's got a built-in thermometer as well, thermostat rather, not thermometer, although it does seem to have very big steps, about 4 or 5 degrees C I think, between on and off. A bit random, but still pretty good. So that controller is mounted on a little black box, and it picks up one of the existing screws which is holding the dash together, so no real modifications to the Land Rover to get that in. The control cable runs down behind the fuse box along the tunnel underneath the carpet in some conduit, and as you can just see it going up the side there, and it then goes into the box, and that all seems to work quite nicely. The exhaust exits the Land Rover on the passenger side. So there's the exhaust for the Eberspacher. It's coming out just in front of the step for the rear passenger. You can just about see the silencer underneath there as well. So I'll fire it up and you can see and hear what it's like when it's running. Pump has just kicked in underneath, and the fan is winding up. You probably can't even hear the pump. It seems to be very quiet, this one. So as these things start up, the fan comes on at full speed, but once it actually reaches the thermostatically controlled temperature, it slows down considerably and gets quite a lot quieter, and then it winds itself up to full speed again if the temperature has dropped significantly. Otherwise it will just tick over and keep the place warm. So I'm not sure if we've got hot air yet. probably. Oh yeah, we've got warm air now already. So just pop round and look at the exhaust. Tiny amount of smoke as it starts up, not very much, and that soon clears. So I think there's more condensation. It's quite a damp morning this morning. It's a bit like domestic boiler when it starts up. So it's been running about 90 seconds now, and the initial start up, steam, smoke, call it what you will, is dissipated, and you may or may not be able to hear the noise level, mostly ear intake noise. There's a bit of background noise there. There's some farm machinery in the background as well, so I'm not sure we'll be able to tell which is which on the recording. So it's already getting warm in here. Just a shot of the top of the mud stuff box. The 4 bolts that you can see there line up with the pre-drilled holes in the standard cubby boxes. So you can drop a cubby box on there, and I've tried it, but it's a little high for my taste. It kind of impedes access to the gear stick. You probably get used to it, I suspect, but probably going to fabricate something a little bit low, because it is handy to have something in the middle there, but I really don't want it to be quite as high as the standard sort of cubby boxes on the market. I may get brave and actually chop the one I've got down and make it, I don't know, probably 200mm lower. Okay, temperature's up to 21 in here already, heading towards 24, probably beyond. Ticks up one more, 22, and that's with the door standing out. The vent on the front here, you can turn it, so Sue suffers from cold legs, so if the heater isn't sufficient in the colder months, which it probably won't be, you can turn this on even when driving and blow some very warm air into the passenger compartment. All should be well.